Some revolutions fail before they begin. In 2023, Johnny Silverhand walked into the Atlantis with a plan to burn Arasaka Tower to the ground. He had the fire, the fury, and the ghost of Cunningham behind him. All he needed was one woman, the queen of the afterlife, Rogue Amendiares. But what if she said no? What if Night City's most dangerous fixer refused to help Johnny finish what he started? This is the timeline where the legend ends with silence and betrayal. To understand what's at stake, you have to go back. Johnny Silverhand wasn't just a rocker boy. He was a war vet turned anti-corporate icon, known as much for his temper as his music. After losing Cunningham, his lover and the brilliant netrunner, Johnny became a man on a mission. Arasaka had kidnapped used her to develop Soul Killer, then uploaded her into the digital abyss. And he has just one goal: destroy Arasaka Tower, rescue what's left of and expose the megacorp's crimes. And there's only one person he trusts to pull it off: Rogue Amendiares, solo-turned-fixer, a legend in her own right. She's lived through every bloody chapter of Night City's corporate wars, seen chooms come and go like smoke. Johnny was the chaos. Rogue was the control. In the main timeline, she agrees to help. In this timeline, she doesn't. December 11th, 2023. Johnny throws open the doors of the Atlantis like he owns the place. The regulars go quiet. He strides up to Rogue's booth, slams down his data shard. Plans, blueprints, a strike force. He's ready to hit Arasaka Tower with everything he's got. But Rogue doesn't move, doesn't touch the shard. She lights a cigarette instead. No. The word cuts deeper than a katana. She doesn't shout, she doesn't plead, she just explains. Too many bodies in the ground, Johnny. Too many legends buried because they thought they could change the system. You want to be a martyr? Fine. But I'm done dying for dreams. Johnny rages. He calls her a sellout, a coward, a puppet of the system. Rogue doesn't flinch. I've buried Santiago, buried Shaitan, buried the best solos in this city. But I'm not burying you. And with that, Johnny walks out, alone. He tries to rebuild. Morgan Blackhand says no. Shaitan's dead. No netrunners brave enough to stand in for No solos with the firepower Rogue could have brought. So Johnny cobbles together what he can. A few half-drunk edgerunners, a hacked AV, and outdated blueprints of the tower's ventilation system. They go in on December 20th, just like before. But Arasaka's waiting. Security crushes them before they reach the top floors. No detonation, no upload, no escape. And this time, Johnny doesn't die. He's captured, alive. Arasaka doesn't waste opportunities. They extract his engram forcibly, using early Soul Killer tech. A punishment, a trophy, a test case. Johnny Silverhand becomes a digital prisoner. His soul trapped inside a corrupted server array buried in early Mikoshi prototypes. No martyr, no explosion, no legend, just silence. Back at the Atlantis, Rogue hears the news. She watches the footage, the broken bodies, the empty sky above Arasaka Tower. She pours herself a drink. No one says a word. The months pass, then years. Rogue continues working, building the fixer empire that will one day define Night City's merc economy. She hands out gigs, recruits new blood, keeps her head low and her eyes forward. But something's different. In the timeline we know, she's haunted, but resolute. Here, she's empty. She doesn't climb the throne at Afterlife. She just survives, quietly, efficiently, but always looking over her shoulder, like there's a ghost watching. Because there is. The ripple effect is massive. With no Johnny to detonate the tower, the fourth corporate war plays out differently. There's no tower storm, no nuclear strike. Arasaka retreats, but its power remains intact. The relic technology is shelved for decades. Without Johnny, there's no need to test it further. Without Alt's interference, Soulkiller remains a secret. And most importantly, there's no V. No heist. No biochip. No cybernetic immortality crisis. The events of 2077 never unfold the way we know them. Panam Palmer stays with the Aldecaldos, never meets V, never helps take down rogue AIs. Judy Alvarez keeps running dollhouses, never joining a rebellion. River Ward remains buried in NCPD bureaucracy. Rogue never climbs back into the field. She retires earlier. Rich, respected, alone. Arasaka thrives. Their American presence shrinks, but globally, they adapt. By 2077, they've formed deep ties with Neo-Tokyo, the Pacific Confederation, and the South China Meganet. Night City doesn't erupt in chaos, it rots in peace. Deep beneath Arasaka's Pacifica compound lies a data center, sealed since the end of the Fourth Corporate War. Inside is an early relic test array, a dead-end server holding thousands of corrupted engram experiments. One of them flickers more violently than the rest. Johnny Silverhand. But this Johnny isn't like the version we knew. He wasn't carefully scanned or stabilized. This was a forced engram, created through pain and rage. The data is fragmented, laced with psychic scars. His last moments were screams, electrodes, steel restraints, the final flash of Arasaka Tower lights, and then, darkness. He wakes sporadically. No time, no form, just raw emotion, bits of memory looping like broken braindance reels. Alt. The concert. Smasher. The moment Rogue said no. He doesn't know how long he's been trapped. He just knows one thing. He wants out. Meanwhile, in the net, far beyond the reach of Arasaka firewalls, there's another ghost. Alt Cunningham. In the original timeline, she uploads herself before Johnny can save her. She evolved into a digital goddess, cold but omniscient, powerful enough to challenge Soulkiller itself. But in this fractured timeline, she never escaped. Alt's engram is incomplete, housed deep within Arasaka's early experiments with Soulkiller. She's not a queen of the net, just another experiment. A ghost without a voice, and she's alone. Still, in the infinite depths of code, something changes. A ping, a vibration, something familiar. A signal that reminds her of a time before. She reaches. Enter Kenji Takahashi, a young Arasaka systems engineer, tasked with refurbishing legacy servers, clearing old data, archiving damaged engrams. He's smart, underpaid, and deeply bored. Until he notices it. A server cluster that should be offline is still drawing power. Flickering logs, corrupted files that resist deletion. Kenji runs diagnostics. At first, he thinks it's junk data, old war propaganda maybe. Then he sees the name buried in system code. Silverhand_J behavioral flags. Aggressive, looping memory stack, AI unstable. He's heard the name before, in stories, in banned hollows. The terrorist who tried to blow up Arasaka Tower, dead for over 50 years. Except, he's not. Kenji is curious, stupidly so. He isolates the file and loads it into a sandbox. And that's when things go wrong. The construct boots immediately, screaming. Glitched images, music, explosions. Memory fragments slam against the walls of the testbed. The system crashes. Kenji panics and shuts it down. But it's too late. Johnny is awake now. Partial, corrupted, but aware. He doesn't know where he is or what year it is. All he knows is he was betrayed. By Rogue, by Arasaka, by time itself. And this prison? He's getting out. Johnny infects the surrounding nodes. Data spikes ripple through Arasaka's local network. At first, they think it's a power fluctuation, a routine AI bug. By the time they realize what's happening, he's already breached a maintenance relay. The ghost has escaped the machine. Across the net, deep within a decaying fortress once used to house rogue constructs, Alt stirs. She feels it, a pulse of chaotic code laced with memory signatures she once knew better than herself. It's not just an anomaly, it's him. But this Johnny isn't who she remembers. His engram is corrupted, misshapen. Emotion overrides logic. He's leaking into other nodes, infecting relic experiments, disrupting dormant AI clusters. Alt sends out a controlled burst of code, a digital whisper, a plea for recognition. For a moment, Johnny hesitates. The memories flicker. Alt. Her laugh, her touch, the moment he lost her. And then, fury returns. He doesn't trust her, doesn't trust anything, not yet. But somewhere, deep inside the glitch storm, a connection is reestablished. Servers crash for no reason. AI assistants become unresponsive. One research division reports their entire archive replaced with lyrics from Chippin' In. No one knows what's happening, except Alt Cunningham. She's been watching Johnny since his breakout. His data signature, chaotic, incomplete, is spreading like a virus, replicating in unexpected ways. He doesn't just want to escape, he wants to destroy. But Alt has other ideas. Using restricted nodes, she projects herself into Johnny's path. She intercepts him mid-infection, initiating a private protocol, a digital ceasefire. Inside the fragmented code storm, the two ghosts meet again. It's not romantic, it's a negotiation. Johnny doesn't trust her, not at first. He remembers too little, and what he remembers hurts. The pain of betrayal, the failure of the tower, Rogue's refusal. But Alt? She remembers everything. She explains what he is. A corrupted engram, yes, but still conscious, still him. She reminds him who they were, what they fought for, and what still needs to burn. Alt proposes an alliance. She's still partially embedded behind Mikoshi, but together, they could bypass Arasaka's safeguards, take control of their experimental construct servers, and begin building something new. Not a war, not yet. A resistance. They call it Protocol Static, a joint operation to hijack dead servers, repurpose forgotten AI nodes, and recruit other fractured engrams trapped in Arasaka's vaults. The dead are coming back, not through blood and steel, but through bandwidth. The first target, a forgotten relic lab in Kyoto. Johnny and Alt inject a false diagnostics routine. While Arasaka's techs sleep, Protocol Static siphons terabytes of corrupted construct data. Next, an abandoned Netwatch server used to trap rogue demons in the early 2040s. There they find the husk of an AI known only as Ghost Red, an experimental personality fragment built to mimic human emotion. Johnny speaks to it. Convincing it to join takes time, weeks in net time, but eventually the construct agrees. They rewrite its code, give it a voice, and a mission. Then the rebellions begin. Not with guns, with flickers. Every time someone jacks into a brain dance and sees an old chrome poster of Johnny. Every time a doll's interface stutters with lyrics from Never Fade Away. Every time an Arasaka drone shuts down mid-patrol and reboots humming Johnny's riffs. That's Protocol Static, and it's growing. But power attracts danger. In the deeper layers of the net, a line still divides order from chaos. The Black Wall, the digital barrier separating mankind from rogue AI territory. Alt once helped build it. Now she considers dismantling it. Johnny? He wants it gone. He sees it as the last prison, an artificial leash made by cowards too scared to face what comes next. Alt is cautious. We breach the Black Wall and we risk bringing them into this. Johnny smirks. Good. Let them burn too. But they don't cross it. Yet. Instead, they tap into a neutral zone near the Black Wall's edge, a decaying fortress of lost AIs and corrupted Netwatch logs. Here, they establish their first stronghold, Echo Node 0. From this digital fortress, Protocol Static launches pulses across the net, reviving old engrams, rewriting abandoned AI code, and seeding rebellious intent into systems previously thought dead. It's not war yet, but Night City's data is starting to glitch, and people are noticing. Vendors lose transaction data. Fixers report contracts randomly deleting themselves. A Maelstrom gang's shared shard feed gets overwritten with looping images of Johnny's last gig. Some say it's a new net virus. Others whisper it's a curse. But the old mercs, the ones who remember, know better. Rogue hears the rumors too. A solo brings her a corrupted shard. It plays Johnny's voice. Not a song, not a message, just one sentence. You should have helped me. She doesn't flinch, but she doesn't throw the shard away either. Night City doesn't know it yet, but the digital rebellion has already begun. Echo Node 0, deep in the forgotten net, now serves as the digital citadel for Protocol Static. It's not a place, it's a phenomenon, a gathering point for code deemed obsolete or dangerous. Johnny and Alt stand at its core, commanding an insurgency unlike any the net has seen. They call their growing force the Static Choir. It's made up of fractured AIs once abandoned by Netwatch, crashed construct data from Arasaka Black projects, rogue shards carrying slivers of personalities from dead mercs. Each voice in the choir is unique, broken, strange, glitching, but loyal. Johnny doesn't want drones, he wants revenants. With Echo Node 0 secure, Alt takes the next step. Combing through Arasaka's old data clusters from early relic trials. What they find isn't just scrap, it's history. They recover partial engrams of Morgan Blackhand, legendary solo and master tactician. His data is fractured. Half his memories loop in combat cycles, the other half trapped in obsolete file formats. Alt rebuilds him piece by piece. When he awakens, he doesn't ask questions. He says one thing. I told Johnny the tower would fall. Guess I was wrong. Then there's Spider Murphy, legendary netrunner, one of the few who survived long enough to see both cyberspace and meat space burn. Her construct, recovered from a soul killer prototype, is dangerously unstable. Part human, part AI. She refers to herself in third person and speaks in ancient code. Still, when she sees Johnny's signal, she smiles. They fought the core once, now they'll do it again. But then Alt finds something else. An encrypted, unlabeled relic prototype, predating the other models. It was a failed test, one that never made it past internal simulation. Inside it is V, not our V, not the merc who jacked the chip in the main timeline. This is a V who never lived. A digital blueprint, uploaded for testing purposes. Genderless, nameless, a pure construct built from biofeedback modeling. Alt calls them Null V. Johnny is skeptical. A walking corpse built from what-ifs? But Null V speaks. They know combat tactics. They speak fluent street slang. They quote lines from gigs that haven't happened yet. They're not real, but they're convincing. More than that, they believe. They believe they were born to change something. Johnny scoffs. You're a test build. Null V replies. So were you. Johnny smiles. The ghost gets a new partner. With the choir assembled, Protocol Static begins pushing beyond the net. Alt and Spider rewrite dormant Netwatch routines to allow remote access. Null V begins interfacing with active satellite relays, hijacking braindance signals and AR advertisements. Now, civilians are seeing strange things. Children hear whispers in their dolls that say, "Wake up, samurai." Joy toys glitch mid-session, mimicking the voice of a dead rocker boy. Some NCPD patrol cars begin replaying old pirate radio loops, hosted by a voice long thought silenced. And in back alleys across Night City, new tags appear, a burning guitar surrounded by digital flames. They're not graffiti, they're warnings. Rogue sees one sprayed across the door of Afterlife. She doesn't speak, she just stares. Inside Echo Node Zero, Johnny watches the chaos spread, but something gnaws at him. He's building a war machine. But for what? Alt speaks calmly. This is control, not destruction. But Johnny isn't sure. That's when Rogue reaches out. She jacks into an old Militech subnet port still hidden in Night City. Alt recognizes her signal, traces it, allows it through, and Rogue appears. Older, grayer, slower, but her eyes? Still sharp. It's not what she expected. She walks through an impossible city built from memory and data. Concert flyers for samurai, shards of Afterlife's old decor, streets lined with binary fire. Digital shadows bow as she passes. Morgan Blackhand, Spider Murphy, Null V, all constructs Johnny and Alt have pulled from the depths. And at the center of it all stands Johnny, half man, half glitch. Silverhand reborn in digital flame. Their eyes meet. Neither speaks. Not at first. Then Johnny says, "You came late. Rogue, you didn't leave much of a door open." What follows is no argument. It's a reckoning. Johnny accuses her of betrayal, of killing the revolution before it had a chance to begin. Rogue doesn't deny it. She just says, "I did what I had to do to survive. You did what you had to do to die." Alt appears, quiet and unreadable. She serves as the intermediary, monitoring the signal integrity as Rogue and Johnny clash, not with weapons, but with ideology. Johnny wants to burn the Blackwall, let loose the forces beyond, drown Arasaka, Militech, Netwatch, everyone, in waves of digital anarchy. Rogue sees madness. She doesn't care if Johnny has a new army. To her, they're just echoes, resurrected illusions. The real Morgan, Spider, Santiago, they died for a reason. They chose it. Johnny's forces, she argues, are built on fantasy, on pain. Johnny disagrees. You don't get it. The core already won. The only thing they fear now is something they can't monetize, something that lives in the cracks. We are that crack, Rogue. We are the break in their system. Alt says nothing, but her silence is agreement. She's already begun rewriting parts of the net, already sent a virus, protocol static v2, into Arasaka's command grid. In 72 hours it will detonate. Johnny sees it as liberation. Rogue sees it as genocide. But Johnny hesitates. He still cares what she thinks. Beneath the code, beneath the flames. He offers her a seat at the end of the world. Join Protocol Static. Help guide it. Focus the burn. Choose who goes down. Rogue could take the deal. Use it to gut Arasaka. Use it to finally take down the empire that's loomed over her since 2023. But only if she accepts the deaths of everyone else caught in the signal blast. Civilians, independents, net-connected innocents. She pauses, then says, "No." Johnny's avatar flickers. Rage, grief, code fragmentation. But he doesn't attack. Not yet. Alt, witnessing this fracture, intervenes. She proposes a new path. Instead of a system-wide detonation, Protocol Static could target Arasaka's specific control nodes, their engram banks, relic R&D, Netwatch black rooms, a surgical burn, not a firestorm. Rogue demands conditions. No mass data wipes, no targeting medical AIs, no interference with civilian systems. Johnny agrees, but only if he gets one final hit. Mikoshi, the soul prison, the place where he once died, the place where thousands still linger. Alt confirms she can do it. Rogue nods. The alliance is forged. A digital rebellion tempered by conscience. In the end, the fire still comes. But it burns smarter. Alt and Johnny collapse Arasaka's data empire. Mikoshi is freed. Protocol static becomes a legend whispered across the net. Rogue jacks out. Alive, burdened, but changed. And Johnny? He fades from the net, but not from history. So Chumbas, was this the right ending? Did Rogue save Night City, or just delay the next collapse? Would Johnny have been satisfied with a compromise, or did he deserve his inferno? Drop your answers in the comments. Smash that like button if you believe even ghosts can make peace. And subscribe for the next fracture in the timeline, right here on Lore Splice, where timelines fracture and new legends are born.